As autumn fades and the last of the golden leaves drift to the ground, a familiar anticipation fills the air. The days grow shorter, the nights stretch longer, and a crispness settles in, hinting at the season ahead. All around, people are bracing for what's next, wondering if this winter will be mild and forgettable, or one that will be talked about for years to come. As the chill sets in and coats come out of closets, everyone's asking, what kind of winter is coming? Will it be a gentle season, or are we in for a wild ride of snow and ice? The uncertainty has people checking forecasts, swapping predictions, and preparing for whatever Mother Nature has in store. This year, forecasters are buzzing with excitement and a bit of concern. Several major climate patterns are lining up, and together, they're hinting at a colder, snowier season for much of the U.S. Meteorologists are poring over data, comparing models, and watching for signs that could tip the scales toward a memorable winter. Terms like La Niña, the polar vortex, and the blob are at the center of the conversation. Each of these powerful forces plays a unique role in shaping our winter weather, influencing everything from temperature swings to the path of snowstorms. Their combined effects could mean dramatic changes in weather patterns across the country. The latest data points to a more active season than usual, with significant cold snaps and major snowstorms likely, especially in the northern states and the Midwest. Cities that usually see a dusting could be blanketed, and rural areas may face travel challenges. For many, this could mean more time spent shoveling, navigating icy roads, and bundling up against the elements. Forecasters are even comparing this setup to the legendary winter of 2013-14, a season remembered for its relentless cold, record-breaking snowfalls, and the way it tested communities across the country. That winter brought weeks of sub-zero temperatures and snowdrifts that lingered well into spring, leaving a lasting impression on everyone who lived through it. So as you prep your winter wardrobe, stock up on supplies and make sure your home is ready, get set for a season that could be anything but ordinary. Whether you love the snow or dread the cold, this winter promises to keep us all on our toes, with surprises that could arrive at any moment. Let's break down the key players driving this winter's forecast, and see what might be in store for your region in the months ahead. One of the biggest drivers this winter is La Niña, a recurring climate pattern where cooler-than-average Pacific waters near the equator set off a chain reaction in the atmosphere. These chilly waters don't just sit there, they actively influence global weather by shifting the powerful jet stream, a high-altitude river of air that steers storms and temperature patterns across North America and beyond. When La Niña is in play, the jet stream tends to bend and dip in new ways, setting the stage for dramatic changes in our winter weather. This shift in the jet stream brings colder, wetter weather to the northern U.S. Think the Pacific Northwest, where rain and snow pile up, the northern Rockies blanketed in white, the Great Lakes region bracing for lake-effect snow, and the Northeast facing frequent winter storms. These areas often see more intense precipitation and longer stretches of chilly weather, making winter sports and snow days a regular part of life. For millions of people living in these northern regions, that means more snowstorms, icy roads, and below-average temperatures. Meanwhile, the South often experiences the opposite: drier, warmer conditions, with fewer storms and more sunshine. Cities like Atlanta, Dallas, and Phoenix may see mild afternoons and less rain, making for a very different winter experience compared to their northern neighbors. This north-south divide is a classic signature of La Niña winters. The contrast can be striking. While snow piles up in the north, the south might be enjoying outdoor barbecues. But it's important to remember that not all La Niñas are identical, and each one brings its own unique twists. This year's La Niña is considered weak, which means the usual patterns may not be as predictable. More variability is expected, so surprises are possible, like sudden cold snaps, or even rare snowfalls in places like Texas or the Deep South. Residents there should stay alert, as winter could throw a few curveballs their way. The strength of La Niña shapes just how dramatic these effects are, but it's only one piece of a much larger puzzle. Meteorologists closely monitor ocean temperatures, atmospheric pressure, and other climate signals to refine their forecasts and anticipate what each winter might bring. The jet stream acts as a storm track, guiding moisture and cold air across the country. Its path can determine where blizzards hit, where rain falls, and which regions get a break from the cold. Watching its movements is key to understanding how winter will unfold. So, while the North braces for another round of winter's chill, The South may enjoy more mild days and outdoor activities, but no one's completely off the hook. Weather can always surprise us, and even the sunniest regions should be prepared for the unexpected. Other climate factors, like the Arctic oscillation or sudden stratospheric warming, can add even more twists to the forecast. This winter, as always, it pays to stay tuned and be ready for whatever the Pacific and the atmosphere have in store. To predict this winter, forecasters look back at similar years. 2013-14 stands out. That winter brought relentless cold and record snow from Thanksgiving through spring, making polar vortex a household term. Chicago saw 82 inches of snow, nearly double its average. Cities, from Indianapolis to Albany, were buried, and even the South saw rare snow. The cold was just as intense, with Arctic air plunging deep into the U.S., closing schools and straining infrastructure. What made 2013-14 so extreme? A weak La Niña, a specific wind pattern, and the blob all aligned. This year, those same ingredients are coming together, raising the odds for another memorable winter. While no two winters are identical, the parallels are hard to ignore. Enter the blob, a patch of unusually warm water in the northern Pacific. This blob releases heat and moisture, warping the jet stream and creating a high-pressure ridge over the Pacific. The jet stream then detours north into Alaska before plunging south, opening the door for Arctic air to invade the U.S. In 2013-14, the blob helped fuel a cold, snowy winter by repeatedly disturbing the polar vortex. This year, the blob reappeared but is showing signs of weakening as winter approaches. If it strengthens, it could reinforce the cold pattern. If not, its impact may fade. Meteorologists are watching closely. The blob's fate could tip the scales for this winter. It's the ultimate wild card in the forecast. High above the equator, in the thin, chilly air of the stratosphere, a powerful but invisible force is at work. It's called the Quasi-Biennial Oscillation, or QBO, and it's one of the atmosphere's most fascinating and influential patterns. While it might sound like something out of a science fiction novel, the QBO is very real, and it plays a surprisingly important role in shaping our winters. The QBO is a cycle of winds that switch direction every 14 months or so, flowing alternately from the west and then from the east, high above the tropics. These shifting winds might seem distant and disconnected from our daily lives, but they have a remarkable ability to influence weather patterns thousands of miles away, all the way down to the surface. This winter, the QBO is in its easterly phase, a setup that's been linked by scientists to a weaker, more unstable polar vortex over the Arctic. When the QBO blows from the east, it disrupts the usual stability of the polar vortex, making it more likely to wobble, stretch, and even break apart. When the polar vortex weakens, it can no longer keep the frigid Arctic air locked up at the top of the world. Instead, that cold air can spill southward, sweeping across North America and bringing sudden dramatic cold snaps to the US and beyond. Imagine the polar vortex as a spinning top. When it's strong, it spins smoothly and keeps everything in place. But when it starts to lose balance, thanks in part to the QBO's easterly winds, it wobbles and cold air escapes, racing southward and invading the US with icy blasts. This connection between the QBO and the polar vortex isn't just a theory. It's backed by decades of meteorological data and research, making it one of the most reliable long-range signals for predicting winter weather patterns. This year, with a weak La Niña in the Pacific, the possible return of the warm water blob, and the QBO in its easterly phase, all the signals are pointing toward a winter that could be colder and more volatile than usual. These powerful forces, from the depths of the ocean to the heights of the stratosphere, are working together to set the stage for a potentially historic winter season, one that could bring memorable storms and deep freezes across the continent. The atmosphere's primed for action, and as these signals align, all eyes are on the skies to see what this winter will bring. The polar vortex isn't a monster storm. It's a swirling mass of cold air over the poles. Normally the jet stream keeps this frigid air locked up north, but disruptions can make the vortex wobble or split. When that happens, Arctic air escapes, plunging deep into the US, and bringing the coldest snaps of winter. These outbreaks can send temperatures far below zero, with wind chills making it feel even colder. The winter of 2013-14 saw several of these events. breaking records and straining communities. This year, with the QBO in its easterly phase, the odds of similar outbreaks are higher. Not every day will be frigid, but the risk of major Arctic blasts is real. These are the events that turn an ordinary winter into one for the history books. So, what's the bottom line for temperatures? The northern U.S., from the Pacific Northwest to the Great Lakes and Northeast, should brace for a colder-than-average winter, with more frequent and intense cold snaps. Get your furnace checked and winter gear ready. Arctic blasts are likely. Meanwhile, the South and Southwest are set for a milder season following the classic La Niña pattern. But even here, quick, sharp cold fronts can break through, bringing brief but potent freezes. No region is completely immune, but the North will feel winter's bite most. It's truly a tale of two halves. Where will snow pile up? Two main zones stand out. The Pacific Northwest mountains will see heavy snow as the La Niña jet stream slams into high terrain. The Midwest and Great Lakes are also primed for above-average snow, with frequent storms tapping both southern moisture and Arctic cold. Some areas could see a foot or more above normal, echoing the epic 2013-14 season. Central and northern regions just outside the main snowbelt should see near or slightly above average totals. Even the Northeast and Central Plains could get major storms. The South is drier overall, but a well-timed Arctic blast could bring a surprise snow or ice event, especially impactful in places like Dallas or Atlanta. This winter, almost anywhere could see a memorable storm. As we wrap up, remember, long-range forecasts are about probabilities, not guarantees. Wildcards like the Arctic Oscillation, AO, and North Atlantic Oscillation, NAO, can flip the script, bringing sudden thaws or reinforcing the cold. These patterns add week-to-week variability, so even in a cold winter you might get a stretch of mild weather. The big picture, a cold, snowy season is likely for much of the North, but surprises are always possible. The alignment of La Niña, the QBO, and the blob makes this winter one to watch. Stay tuned to local forecasts and be ready for anything. Whether you love snow or dread the cold, this winter promises to keep us guessing. Get ready, it's going to be a season to remember.